What is going on, everybody? I am Tony Tucker, and you have arrived at another Mock Draft Monday here on the Warzone Sports Network. We are very excited to announce our guest and get into this draft board and everything, but I just want to talk about what's going on with these tight ends. Today, San Francisco 49er player announced he wants to be known as George Kittley? What? Music, Joe. As you can see, we need to work on the timing a bit. We'll get that eventually on the Blackout show.
Is it the timing or the joke? I don't.
It's a combination of the two. I'm not going to say it was my best material. Let's give it. Why are we still talking here? We are happy to be joined by Marcus Grant from the NFL Network. How you doing?
Good, man. I always appreciate getting invited anywhere. And like now it's live, right? Like we actually have people in training camp doing football things. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I feel like it gives us actually a little bit of substance to talk about too, because when we're talking fantasy in like before the actual NFL draft, the speculation is just wild of all the guys we think are going to do this and that and the next thing.
No, in fact, I think I tweeted just before I came on here that like we have reached the point where you can pretty much name an offensive skill position player on any roster, and somebody out there is going to pop up and tell you why that player should be drafted. Doesn't matter who it is, right? It's like some guy who's just like a camp body who's like just like will be lucky to make the practice squad, and there's somebody out there who's like, well, you know what? I mean, could be a late round dynasty dart throw. Like, no, probably not.
Yeah, the guy from the Atlanta Falcons, whose name I always struggle to pronounce, so I won't try it. There we go. Yeah, he's exactly the perfect person that you're talking about, where I'm like, wait, he's a wide receiver 3? Yeah, well, like to somebody in May, sure. But once the season starts, that won't happen.
I was just trying to make a case the other day for Willie Snead Jr., and I was like, what am I doing? Calm down. It's training camp.
I didn't know there was a Willie Snead Sr. Are we gonna pop this thing off or what? What's happening?
Yeah, we're already starting. We gotta see. I'm interested to see where Jonathan Taylor goes now.
Oh yeah, lots changed.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? You feel like there's any effect from the injury, like whether it's Eason or Hundley at quarterback?
Oh, he had a problem with quick.
All right.
It better be Eason.
Well, yeah.
Do you like Eason?
It better be Eason. Yeah, I do like Eason. I think Eason's their best bet.
Yeah, I've never.
Steezy, where you at, Steezy? Oh, Christian McCaffrey off the board. There we go.
See,
Hundley's never really done enough for me to be excited about him. Like, and I don't know. I've not seen enough from Jacob Eason. So for me, Taylor's still going to go because if you're picking him, you picked him before because of volume, not necessarily because Carson Wentz. You picked him because you like the offensive line and the volume.
Starting already.
Jacob Eason has looked decent in preseason games, and he's looked decent in college to a point where when Rivers was on his way out, there was a little bit of a thought in my head that maybe they might just go straight up and go Eason's way for a year. But, of course, Wentz came in. So we'll see if he can prove me right about being high on him. I'm high on him as one of the better backups in the NFL, at least.
Speaking of Jonathan Taylor, like this is the highest he's gone, and this is after the Wentz news, and now he just went at 5. This is the highest I've seen him go.
Yeah, I can make the case, and look, this is all. I mean, obviously, it's all speculation, right? We're all guessing at this point. You make the case though that without Carson Wentz and without a real solid option at quarterback, that they just load up Jonathan Taylor with touches, that they just give him the ball 30 times a game. I mean, I'm not saying I would do it, but at least that's the argument I think you can make in favor of making that move for Jonathan Taylor at that spot.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I would actually argue he was already the best player on the offense. Like he would be my guy that after we saw what Wentz did. Now, obviously, Wentz's capabilities are great. We saw that, the 1 year MVP season, 2017 or whatever. But right now, going into the season, I would say that Jonathan Taylor's the best player. And now there's a big discrepancy. Let's just feed him the rock.
Marcus did exactly what I thought he was going to do. Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, man. I've everywhere I can. I get Travis Kelce. That Austin Eckler at the end of the first round though hurt my feelings, so I got to take Antonio Gibson. I was really hoping. I'm like, Eckler, he can last 2. Nope.
I like it.
I got Barkley at 9. I'll take it. I'll take it all day.
I think that's great.
You're not worried about what the Alfred Morris signing doesn't mean anything to you? Doesn't scare you?
I mean,
not that Alfred Morris is going to get 250 touches or anything, but
yeah, it was like, oh, Alfred Morris coming in. It kind of scared me off a little bit. Probably that's why he probably slipped to number 9 right here because of that.
Well, there's a lot of people that. How do you feel about calling him injury prone? Like, these don't feel like injury. These are like huge injuries to me. So I'm not really I don't like the injury prone tag for him. Like, they're not like bumps and bruises.
I mean, you're injury prone until you're not, and it's just such a hard thing to predict that it just, I still believe in Saquon, when he's healthy, he's going to get the ball a ton. It's just a hard thing to predict. So yeah, just labeling a guy injury prone, I've tried to avoid doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I'm higher on Austin Eckler, and that's why when you mention that is something I want to talk about. Like, I really like it when you can sort of follow the offseason moves to me that lead to success, and the offensive line bulked up in San Diego, and I think that helps him and Herbert a lot.
San Diego, huh?
Yes. Yes. They've been relegated back to San Diego.
It's just like the injury prone label. You go to San Diego until you win.
Yeah.
Close to Mesa Chargers.
Santiago.
It's German.
Tried Kittle didn't work, so he auto draft. Is that what it's saying? Who's
auto drafted? Yeah, just for this pick. I don't know why.
I feel bad that Marcus has to deal with Joe Morley, like the Warzone Sports guy. I think Marcus likes me, or else he wouldn't come back.
I mean, look, the more mock drafts I can get in, even this time of year, like, I know, we're well into real draft season for a lot of us, degenerates. But the more mock drafts, I think the better. And doing stuff like this is always fun.
I have already drafted in one league, and it was the earliest I ever drafted. It was a 4th of July. It started slow draft, and every time a new announcement comes up on my phone, like every time there's a new notification, I cross my fingers hoping it's nobody on that roster that I see that is like, this guy's out for the season. I'm like, he's not on my team.
See,
dodge a bullet. It's like playing Russian roulette with fantasy football.
I'm so the opposite, where I've done these early drafts and I sort of forget about it, and I know inevitably I'm going to go back and I'm going to start making moves in end of August or whatever, and I'll be like, oh no, I have so and he's out for the year. I totally will draft it and just sort of put it away for a while. And then I inevitably forget who's on my roster. And I will always go back and be like, oh, wait, I drafted this guy. And now he has a torn ACL. And this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I basically just need more years of dealing with it so that I can get past these early yips I have of feeling like every time my phone vibrates, it's notifying me.
Auto draft knew I was going to take Drew Lock, so they made me take Stephon Diggs.
You might want to turn it off because when it gets back around, it's going to automatically pick without a timer. So you might want to go ahead and switch that toggle to on or off, I should say. Otherwise, you're going to get another guy instead of Drew Lock, which you don't want to get unless someone snipes him from you.
Marcus, last time I talked to you, you were high on Cam Akers. Now he's done for the season.
Yeah.
Are you buying any of the other Rams running backs?
I mean, look, I was into Darrell Henderson even before the Akers injury. My pal and equally probably even smarter fantasy guy than me, James Coe, pointed out the fact that last year, by the end of the season, it had kind of become a 60-40 split in that backfield, with Cam Akers taking about 60% of the snaps, and then the other 40% being split up between Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. Obviously, Malcolm Brown's not there anymore. And so, you look at what's left on that roster, there wasn't a real threat to Henderson losing a whole lot of snaps. Now, all of a sudden, he moves up a notch with Akers gone. And look, right now, if you take the Rams at their word, which, do it at your own peril, they say they're not going to go out and add anybody. I'm not totally buying that, but whatever. Regardless, I think worst case scenario, you're still looking at Darrell Henderson getting about 60% of the snaps and getting a whole big workload. So I'm definitely on board with him.
Yeah, shout out to James, because he put together a whole video on that, which is up on his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, is it on Tackling Dummies or is it on James Co?
I think that one might be on James Co. I think the Tackling Dummies stuff, I know they don't do quite as much fantasy on Tackling Dummies, so that's just mostly football.
So, but in that video, he really points out how efficient Darrell Henderson was with his time, and in a lot of aspects, he was more efficient than Cam Akers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very interesting. It kind of changed my perspective on what I initially thought. I don't trust Sean McVay. It feels very much like a Patriots situation to me, where I'm like, I just stay away from the backfield like every single year.
I mean, I don't know. Have you seen the rest of those running backs? It's less of a who's who and more of a who's that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Xavier Jones. Somebody picked up or was trending some guy I had never heard of before, and then I found out he's like a camp running back for the Rams, and I was like, oh, there must have been a story.
And somebody out there is going to tell you why you should draft him in the late rounds.
Yeah. They're like, this guy in his gym shorts broke 3 tackles playing flag football at training camp today. Okay.
Draft me then.
Your flag football skills.
Joe, 3 running backs, huh?
Hey, sometimes I just fall in love with running back. I don't have a strategy. I never have a strategy. I just go best available player in my mind at that time.
I was looking for any sort of surprises so far, and I don't see any. I see Swift going in the middle of the second. I think that's one of the earlier times he's been grabbed in any of these drafts.
Swift. We had
Marcus,
a whole Swift
after
campaign.
you're done drafting this one, somebody has a question for you in the chat. So,
okay, whoever that is behind me has now snagged Eckler, and now he sniped CeeDee Lamb. I'm not thrilled with this at all.
You're not mad that he took Miles Sanders?
I want to love Miles Sanders, but the Eagles don't seem to love Miles Sanders as much as I love Miles Sanders. So I guess since we had a whole long conversation on Darrell Henderson, I'll just draft him right here.
Okay.
There you go. If you're going to talk about it, might as well be about it, huh?
Right? Exactly.
It says somebody's asking who your favorite personality to interview in the sports media world has been.
Who, me? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's a good question. I mean, it's not football related, but I a long time ago in another life worked for a radio station, and I worked on the Jerry Tarkanian show.
Nice.
And when I was 11, 12, 13 years old, like UNLV basketball was like the greatest thing I'd ever seen. Not the greatest basketball thing or the greatest sports thing. It was the greatest thing I had ever seen. Like at that point in my life, I had never seen a college team that would like dim the lights and do fireworks and have like legit Vegas style introductions. And like they were bringing out guys like Larry Johnson and Stacey Augmon, and like they were running up 130 points on teams like in college. And like that to me was the greatest thing ever. Like the first time I went to Las Vegas as a kid, I couldn't give a damn about the lights in the casinos. I told my dad, all I want to do is go to Thomas and Mack Arena. Like that's all I really wanted. And like once we did that, like vacation was over for me. I'm like, I've seen everything I need to see. I'm fine. So then when I got to be a grown up and I worked for this radio station and I got to work on the Jerry Tarkanian show, it was like the greatest thing that had ever happened to me. And what was amazing about it was at that point, I mean, Tark was older then and he was retired from coaching. And in like a lot of things, he was sort of not all there. Like he couldn't tell you where he parked his car. or like what he had for breakfast, but he could tell you the details of a game he coached at Long Beach State back in 1968. Like he was still like, when it came to basketball, was just still that much about it. So yeah, I loved working with Tark. I was incredibly sad when Tark passed. That was a lot of fun for me.
And those UNLV teams were a lot of fun. Like, I forget how good Stacey Ogman, I think was Greg Anthony was on one of those teams.
Was on those teams. Stacey Ogman, Greg Anthony,
and LJ.
Larry Johnson, Anderson Hunt, who was like this sharp shooting 3-point. I never understood why Anderson Hunt never stuck in the NBA, because the dude could shoot the lights out. And they had a guy named George Ackles, who was their center, who like wouldn't just block shots, like he would catch shots. Like, it was insane, you know?
Yeah. They ran up the score on everybody too. It was fun to watch. And I think maybe today that guy would actually be served better in today's NBA.
Yeah, Anderson Hunt would have like, I don't know if he'd have been like a superstar, but he definitely would have stuck on a roster just because he was such a good long range shooter.
I'll take him on the Lakers right now. I don't know who's shooting the ball for them. It's gonna be a dry season from the 3-point line this year.
It's gonna be the Caruso all year long.
Oh man, manscaping it up from 3.
I saw a comment from Same Old Sports Podcast saying that I should take Drew Lock, and I will take Drew Lock, Same Old Sports Podcast, if the other 31 quarterbacks get taken first.
And Justin Fields and Trey Lance.
Yeah, so wait, you're saying that you're going to take Tua over Drew Lock if that comes
out? Yes.
Wow.
100%.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm going to pair Tua with Myles Gaskin, and they're going to tear you up all year long, Joe.
Well, you can go ahead and do that, but if you want to win a championship, stay away from the Dolphins. I'm just saying. Hey, I was surprised, Marcus, that you didn't bring anything up about your great days of the Cal League baseball and how you love Bakersfield, California, because I get nothing but hate on here.
Sam Lynn Ballpark, not great. Although I will say that when I was in that league, I interviewed Josh Hamilton. He played in Bakersfield he had like a cup of coffee in Bakersfield. Like, he was such a superstar. Like, everybody knew he wasn't going to stay there very long. Because they were a Rays affiliate. I guess they were still the Devil Rays. They might have still been the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at that point, but they had an affiliate in Bakersfield, and Josh Hamilton came through, this young stud who everybody knew was just going to be a star at the major league level. I remember I interviewed him, and like after the interview, like he had a ton of tattoos. I remember I asked him like how many he had, and he said like 20 something or whatever. And I was like, "What made you get 20 something tattoos?" And he's like, "I don't know, I was just bored." And I was like, "Okay. Thanks for your time." But that was fun. But Sam Lynn Ballpark, yeah, they can just go on and tear that place down if they haven't already.
It fits right in with the rest of the city, so it's good. Yeah,
I will say though, like, randomly, and this is super random. I just remember being in Bakersfield. We were staying there like on a Tuesday night at the Red Lion Hotel or something like that, and like for whatever reason, like, they had a banging club on Tuesday nights at the Red Lion Hotel in Bakersfield. Like, I just remember we got back from a game, and like there was like a little like a little restaurant or whatever bar behind the hotel. Like, hey, let's just go down and get some food and a beer or something like that. Like, we walked in, and like the lights were down, and the DJ was, and like it was packed. We're like, holy crap, man! Like, this place is banging on a Tuesday night. Like, who knew?
Well, that's all. Tuesday nights in Bakersfield, it's going down. Every Tuesday night. You're welcome to come on over tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't know if I would assume the Red Lion is still there. Hopefully they continue to do good business, but I'm good on that. Thanks, though. I appreciate the invitation.
Shout out to the Red Lion.
Shout out to Red Lion. Marcus Hoove TV says you've become one of his favorite on-air personalities, with you being so interactive with upcoming brands.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I am. I mean, part of it is, I've done this for a while now, but before I did this, I was on a podcast. Like, I did a podcast with some friends. Well before podcasts became like a big deal, it became big business. We actually, like, this is how long ago it was. We were going to do a podcast, and we were going to put it, like, burn it onto a CD and hope that a radio station would give us a job. Like, that's how long ago this was. And like, But like every once in a while, we would get guests, and like I was always grateful for that. That combined with the fact that I was a late night radio producer for a while, and so like I was always thankful whenever somebody would just like take my call and be like, "Hey, could you come on like Friday night at like 9 o'clock? I'm sure you're out having fun with your significant other, but if you could come on for 15 minutes to talk about Major League Baseball, that'd be great." So because like I was always grateful for that, like this is my chance to sort of pay it forward in a little bit.
There you go.
No, that's cool.
We always appreciate when you come on. It's always been great.
I was just gonna say that I actually did. I have one question because I've never played in a super flex league, like the two quarterbacks now. What's the trick with the top of the draft? Because when I'm doing them, everybody else's team always looks better. Like when I mock draft, everybody else's team always looks better than mine. At top of the draft, just go quarterback.
I mean, yeah, you probably want to get a quarterback early. I mean, I will say that I feel like everybody's team looks better than mine in mock drafts, regardless of the format. So I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, you definitely want to get quarterbacks earlier, at least one. I know there are a lot of teams that try to get 3 quarterbacks because, super flex leagues aren't technically 2 quarterback leagues, but in essence, they kind of are 2 quarterback leagues. But I would also say the caveat to that is if you miss, if you only get a couple of quarterbacks or you only get one quarterback early and you have to wait, at some point, I feel like it's smarter to just keep taking other skill position players and plugging them in. Where if you're talking about getting, somebody's wide receiver 2 versus getting like a low end quarterback or something like that, like you might be better off playing another wide receiver or a running back in that super flex spot, just because, like you want a running back who can get you, 15 to 16 points, or you want a quarterback who might get you like 10 to 12. Like just having a quarterback there isn't necessarily a guarantee. So I know sometimes I think we get to the point where we try to shoehorn in quarterbacks, and it isn't necessarily the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, especially when it's like drafting somebody relatively high like a Ryan Fitzpatrick and you're not even sure he's going to have the job for 16 games, and I could pick somebody that I know is going to work a full calendar year.
Right. I mean, I think that's definitely a thing to sort of, if I'm sitting around there and like my choices are like, Andy Dalton or whatever, like I'm probably going to go a different direction because why would I,
Just can't believe you just bashed Andy Dalton right here live on YouTube. Just like that. Like it was nothing. It just rolled off your tongue like, Andy Dalton.
I really think Andy Dalton's going to play. I think he's going to play decent this year. I think he's going to try not to relinquish this job. This is one of the best teams he's ever played on.
I mean, he is probably the best quarterback Allen Robinson has ever played with, right?
I would agree with that. Blake Bortles, Mitch Trubisky is not a big leap.
I said a couple years ago, like I think Trubisky got hurt and Chase Daniel came in, and like I tweeted that like Chase Daniel's probably the best quarterback he's ever played with, and like Twitter got mad at me, and I'm like, I don't care.
That's
like,
a good joke.
I stick by my story. Like I don't care.
Yeah, well, it's looking at like I think Cam's playing on one of the best teams he's ever played with, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of old guys that I see in really good spots at the end of their careers, especially with the defense. I believe will be in New England and the Washington football team defense. So like, just don't screw it up, guys.
So where do you fall on the Cam Newton versus Mac Jones debate?
Oh, I think they should just run Cam into the ground. Like if he's got 15, 16 good games left, like just keep letting him smash the ball up the middle. And why not? Just until the wheels fall off, Cam. Here we go.
Mac Jones.
Who?
Yeah, see? Thank you. That's right. That's how you answer that. You hear that?
Yeah. Back then they didn't want me, Mike. Here's the thing with the Mac Jones is that I think that he will be a good, capable player in the NFL. Like by all accounts, he's smart, knows the playbook. He's there. He comes from Saban's system. But I want to see Cam go out. He's one of my favorite players. I want to see him go out like a champion. Like I want to just see him doing the Cam stuff that made me watch and root for him every Sunday, fantasy football or otherwise. Like I just want to see him ball. And last year felt kind of weird and sad.
Yeah, I felt like last year was just a confluence of just bad circumstances, right? I mean, he was coming off an injury. He didn't get signed till pretty late in the summer, so it's not like he had a lot of time to get ready with the playbook. On top of it, it was a COVID year, so it's not like teams were working together. He caught COVID during the season. It was just like everything that could go wrong for Cam Newton last year sort of did go wrong for Cam. So I'm crossing my fingers that he's not totally washed. I mean, my fear is that he is, but I hope not. That's a long way of me saying I'm staying away from all Patriots
Yeah.
in fantasy drafts, basically.
I agree. I do have a little soft spot for Hunter Henry, and since he's going basically undrafted or at the very end of drafts, I'll take him.
I don't know what to do with the Patriots tight ends. I like both of those players. I like Hunter Henry and I like Jonnu Smith. I would like them more if they were playing on different teams, like from each other. Like if one of them wants to be in New England, that's fine. But like I don't want both of them in New England. Like they should have not gone to the same place.
Also, if Tommy Brady was still chucking balls, we would be a lot more excited about them.
Sure. I mean, I know we keep saying that, right? But like Tom's last year there, like there weren't at some point you have to have players, you have to have pieces too. Like the quarterback is nice, but there just weren't a whole lot of things in that wide receiver group the last couple of years to just get excited about. And like Brady sort of kept them afloat. But even then, like you were drafting Julian Edelman, but you weren't super fired up about it, you know?
It's true.
Yeah. But...
And now, you know, Nelson Aguilar is like the best piece in that wide receiver core. And look, I will always stick up for my USC guys, right? And Nelly Swag was great last year, but like I'm not fighting any. Like if somebody were to snipe Nelson Aguilar from me in this draft, you're not going to see me be upset about it.
Oh well, I didn't know you were a USC guy. Yep. I'm having a little obsession with Michael Pittman Jr. Where I think that I'm going to have him on a lot of teams. How do you feel about him?
I mean, I like him the most out of anybody in that wide receiver group. I keep describing the Colts wide receivers as being long on potential and short on actual production. Because like I like Michael Pittman and I thought he flashed it sometimes last year, but I still don't know what he can do across a full season. I think, we're still waiting on guys like Zach Pascal, on Paris Campbell. Like we like what they can be, but we haven't really seen it yet. And now this Carson Wentz news makes it really hard for me to get super excited about him. But I would say that at least for now, the draft price is going to be right. You're not going to have to put out a lot of draft capital to get any of those guys on your roster. So, if Wentz comes back, or when Wentz comes back, I guess at some point, maybe they are able to turn things around and get it going, and maybe it ends up being okay.
That's what I'm banking on. That's what I think he might even slip a little bit further after the Carson.
Oh, he definitely will. I think they all, I think he slips. I think, I'd be surprised if you see Campbell and Pascal get drafted at all. It's all bad in Indianapolis right now.
Oh, Judy's moving up again. It's not what I like to see.
I was about to take him.
Not what I like to see. Come on. I want Judy to stay in that end of the 7th, 8th round.
And here's the thing.
All mocks.
Here's the thing, Tony. It's not football related, but breaking news: former Raptors guard Kyle Lowry will sign a 3-year deal with the Miami Heat.
Oh no!
Sign and trade. Lowry's a Heat. Just something to think about for after this.
Yeah, that's who I wanted on the Lakers. I don't want to get into I don't want to get into this right now. I'm sad and angry.
That's a dark path. Come on, those zero jerseys.
Hey, Tony, I don't know if you know this, but Marcus is a Dodger fan as well, and he has one of the best T-shirts, and I'm trying to remember what it says, but I remember from the beginning of the year.
Oh, the piece of metal winners.
Yes, it was a good the piece of metal winners. Yes.
Piece of metal winners 2020. Yeah, shout out to I think it was the guys at RotoWear who put that together.
That's a funny shirt.
Yeah. So
I saw that earlier. I think you wore it for opening day, and I was like, yes, that shirt is awesome.
Yeah, I definitely did. I got my Clayton Kershaw bobblehead back here. I got a Cody Bellinger over here. Yeah,
that's what's going on the next 2 days at Dodger Stadium. The Astros are coming to town.
Yay!
Hey, I was thinking about going, but I was like, I do not want to be part of that riot. I will stay out of it.
Yeah, that's probably a wise choice.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring my kids in that environment at all.
Probably a wise decision.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. Somebody is asking me to ask you, Marcus, about a screenplay, and I kind of like the name of it. They said it's just Win Baby.
It's Jay, isn't it? I know it is. Yeah, it's funny because it's funny that you bring that up. I haven't gotten back to it. I know I told Jay that at some point I would dust it off and sort of rework it and try to update it. But Jay, you'll be glad to know that randomly my best friend texted me out of the blue about it and gave me some advice on maybe things I can do. So I'm gonna take his advice to heart. I don't know if I'll get to it soon because football season's starting, so that's gonna sort of occupy my time for the next 4 or 5 months. But just know that you are not the only one out there who apparently has that top of mind. Yeah, it's a thing he asks me about. Every time I talk to him, he asks me about it. Yeah, it's funny.
Fact or fiction?
Have you ever met Jay's assistant, Carlton?
Carlton works for who?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah,
Jay has an assistant named Carlton. He always yells at in his videos. If you ever met him, but I know you're on the clock right now.
Oh, I am on the clock. Look at that.
Who's trying to steal him?
I'll give you a second because I want to hit you up on that Dak Prescott pick that you had earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dak. You see him?
You just took Devontae Smith, huh? You not worried about him?
No. I mean, I know everybody's like, oh, he's going to miss time with his teammates and he's a rookie and it's bad. And I'm like, Devontae Smith is still the best wide receiver on this team. Like, he's still the best wide receiver in Philadelphia. And like, he's still going to get a ton of targets. Like, I still think he's going to get about 100 targets this year. And so, yeah, maybe. But I'll live with it. He's also my third wide receiver. Like, I'm fine. I still believe in Devontae Smith.
That's what I was about to say. You're getting him as your third wide receiver, a guy who, when he is healthy, is probably going to be putting up big numbers, wide receiver one style numbers later on in the season. So I feel pretty comfortable with this.
Shot callers just took my guy right there.
And
Michael
also,
Card.
even if there is a bit of cohesion and timing issue, he's going to be the one guy that creates space. Like the other guys, like Greg Ward Jr. and Travis Fulgham, may be nice players or whatever, to put it nicely. Devonta Smith is the only one that's going to create any actual separation and put a nice target out there for Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts is trying to keep his job, trying to keep an NFL jersey on, be a starter. He knows where his money's going to be. Smith's going to.
You don't sound like you're a fan of Jalen Hurts.
No, I'm fine. I think it's fine. It's the Eagles, and I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what to make of him. Like, I don't know, like, what happened at the end of last year. The GM's mad. The owner's mad. I just don't know what's going on. I don't like the situation for Jalen Hurts. But I do think that, if he's going to want to keep his job and stay in the NFL, like, he's going to be going to the guy that gives him the best chance to look good.
Tony, I got another one. I got another Woj bomb for you. Chris Paul has officially agreed to a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Phoenix Suns.
Celtic brought that up earlier. He said CP3 is back.
That is
round 2 of Joe Morley and CP3.
It doesn't matter. The Suns, they won't be back next year. It won't matter, Joe. But that's a lot of money to give him because that's what he wanted. He wanted the 4 years. The end of that contract could look very bad for the Suns, like trying to move that, like sending him back to MJ and Charlotte or something.
If all these teams have money to throw around, I'm available. What's up?
Give him your draft profile. Send the highlight reels in.
6'4", big body, can bang in the block. He's the a real aggressive rebounder. Not afraid to sit in the chair on defense.
Tell him you're a better rebounder than Kristaps Porzingis.
Have you seen the Spice Adams, like when he's out there shooting the ball in the gym and stuff? That's me, but kind of a little bit worse. I'm worse than that.
I'm just a fan of high socks.
I just don't know if I could wear that, like, the jersey like that, because I'll get a lot of side boob showing and stuff.
Falling out. There was where was it? Where was it at?
Which one? Is Michael Thomas pulling a Scottie Pippen, sticking it to the Saints like Pippen did to the Bulls?
I don't know why. Didn't he already got paid? Isn't he like the highest paid receiver in football? So why would he be sticking it to them? Because it's not about money. Like, is he that mad?
There was a little bit of drama last year in the offseason. I don't know if you remember. Michael Thomas wasn't getting along with Drew Brees and a couple other of his teammates. Drew Brees started that controversy by going on a controversial interview. But, yeah, there was a little bit of tension with Michael Thomas and the Saints. There was a little bit. I don't know if that's still lingering until now.
He was swinging on folks in practice.
Yeah.
Well, he's a slant boy. That's what they call him. And you don't call him a slant boy. So who's asking me if Derek Carr is a tier 2 quarterback? It depends on what your tiers look like, but I'm going to say tier 3 on my ranking.
There you go.
Tier 2 seems a little high, little ambitious.
Put him at tier 3.
Put him as tradable.
Hey, you guys read that they said Winston's looking like the best quarterback in Saints camp?
Good.
And on Thursday, I'm ready for Haskins to come out and dominate.
Oh my gosh.
All these people that are fading Kamara, Joe Morley, are going to be upset when Winston throws 20 touchdowns to him.
I mean, do you really believe that they're going to, even if they start Winston, you think they're just going to let him be the quarterback, huh? You just think he's just going to run up and down the field? Like, they're not just going to bring in Taysom Hill when they get inside the 20-yard line? Like, they took Drew Brees off the field for Taysom Hill. Like, you don't think they'll take Jameis Winston off the field? Like, that is the nuclear scenario for us here, right? That Jameis Winston is the starter and he's the guy, say, between the 20s. But when they get down close, we end up seeing Taysom Hill and he starts running the Wildcat. And then he's scoring short touchdowns. That is the worst case scenario because no one in that situation is worth drafting, right? Because you're losing touchdowns from Kamara. You're not getting anything from Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill's not really giving you enough to make it exciting to start him every week. And there are coaches, most NFL coaches don't really give a damn about what we do. Some of them, I believe, actively troll us, and Sean Payton is at the top of that list. Sean Payton is the top of the list of quarterback or of coaches who actively like to troll fantasy managers. And so, like, I would not be surprised if we see some sort of two-headed quarterback situation in New Orleans this year, which could be great offensively for the Saints. It's going to be a nightmare for the rest of us.
Yeah, we're going to have a real Chris Leak, Tim Tebow situation on our hands,
wow,
right?
I haven't heard Chris Leak's name in a long time.
Little Florida Gators. Remember when Tebow would come in and throw the jump pass at the goal line? Chris Leak would do the work, get him down the field, and then Tebow would reap the glory. Yeah. It's great.
Tebow's catching touchdown passes in camp, Tony.
I'm fine. I'm not a Tebow hater.
You might want to pick him up in this draft. Oh, you're not in this draft, are you?
I'm not. No, I already told you guys I can't multitask. I can't talk about sports and draft a fantasy football team at the same
Marcus,
time.
Mike just took my my guy, the guy that I always try to target around this area, in Irv Smith Jr. Are you liking him this year?
I have gone back and forth on Irv. Like, part of me thinks there's some opportunity there. With Kyle Rudolph not there anymore. The biggest concern for me, though, is will he get enough targets to be a thing? Because historically, Kirk Cousins has had a lot of tunnel vision, right? Generally, his passing game goes through two guys. And before, it was Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. Now it's Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And sure, they'll throw a couple of bones to Dalvin Cook or to, in the past, it was Kyle Rudolph. And, like, I feel like there's just not going to be enough there for Irv Smith to be exciting. I like his talent. I want to get in, I want to be all hashtag let Irv swerve. But I need Kirk Cousins to actually, like, widen his field of vision a little bit beyond just, like, his two main guys.
Yeah, I may have had some other motive to draft Irv Smith there, but yeah, Dalvin Cook is going to be the center of that offense. And I'm actually scared for Justin Jefferson. I don't know if you've had any kind of similar thoughts, Marcus, but I've also been scared to draft Justin Jefferson too high, just because I feel like the Vikings know that their path to success is through Dalvin Cook more than anyone else in that team.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about maybe he doesn't get as many targets as he did last year, but I wouldn't worry about like some major fall off for him. I think for the most part he'll be fine.
Also, Cook doesn't stay healthy any of the years either. This is me assuming that he's going to play all 17 games.
Yeah, and that 17th game is what throws me off. Friends don't let your friends do a championship in week 18, right?
Yeah, I know. Like I had all these I have a T-shirt that says ban week 17. Like now I gotta, I guess, burn it. I don't know. Like it doesn't apply anymore.
Well, it just goes to the throwback quality. The same reason why we rock the old Sonics jersey, even though they're not a team anymore.
It's a great spot to get Mooney.
Oh yeah, he took Mooney right there. I was like, dang.
You're gonna take him on the turnaround?
I guess I better take something other than a wide receiver and a running back, right? At some point.
You do you. Don't let us stop you.
Yeah, there'll be plenty left over on
if
the
you guys need a running back or a wide receiver, come trading. Come I got him. I need a quarterback, though.
Let's see. Gallup situation. Well, let me ask this one first. The Gus Edwards. You think JK is like the guy there, but Gus is they paid him. They're going to give him some work, right?
Yeah. I mean, JK is the guy in that like he'll probably start. He will probably get the majority of the snaps and touches, but Gus isn't going away. I mean, you're still talking about arguably the run heaviest team in the league, and they're going to split those opportunities up. I love Gus Edwards. He's the guy that they use down near the goal line. They use him in just about any situation. I think his production is going to be fairly similar to what J.K. Dobbins is. And I got him, how many rounds later? Dobbins went in the 3rd round, and I got Edwards in the 10th. Like, I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Joe, do you want to talk about do you have information on the Pace League, or are you just putting this up?
I'm just putting it up because Marcus is in the Pace League. So in case anybody feels
I'm not the headliner in the Pace League. Let's just get that clear, right? I'm in a league with like Hugh Jackson and T-Pain. Like T-Pain is legitimately the headliner of this league, even though he apparently has never played fantasy football before. And he's basically going with the button mashing strategy where he's just going to try to create chaos. But yeah, like that's what people are coming for. People are coming to see T-Pain play fantasy football, not me.
Oh yeah, I'm cheering for T-Pain to win because it adds hilarity to all the other, like how seriously we take this and drafting and researching and reading and predicting, and then this guy's like, yeah, I'll take a break from Twitch to just beat everybody down.
It's like the person who wins the Final Four pool because they just pick based on like colors or mascots or something like that. It'll be like that.
Yep. Happened to me at IKEA. Lost out on like $400.
Juju's a Joe Morley guy. I tried to snipe him, but he got him.
I actually don't like Juju, to be honest with you. I don't know why I've been taking him in mock drafts. I don't like Juju. And in a real draft, I probably wouldn't take him.
What a liar.
What?
You're lying. You're saying that so we don't get on your trail. I'm on to you, Joe Morley.
Look, do you think I would really draft 3 running backs, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers, and then another running back? I would.
I was waiting for it. I knew you were going. Yeah,
Joe, we were going to ask. You were going to ask Marcus a Dak Prescott question earlier, and I kind of have one too. But
I'm just. First. You took him 1, 2, 3, 5th round, right? I mean, a couple other quarterbacks were already off the board. But with the foot injury, which it looks like he's all right, but now with the shoulder injury, and they're saying, I don't know if he's thrown yet, but they're saying he hasn't thrown yet. Are you worried about it? Or are you just going to go for those garbage time points when the Cowboys are getting beat down?
Garbage points still count. They count the same as everything else. I mean, I'm not super worried about it yet. I mean, we still have like a month or so before games actually are starting. And I think that's a thing that we all have to sort of take into account because So one of the things that my employer has done an excellent job of, and why it makes billions of dollars every year, is because they have made us lust after football 12 months out of the year. And so because of that, like, we hang on every last little piece of news that comes out all the time, right? So like, when a guy misses practice for a couple of days because his shoulder's a little bit sore or his foot's a little bit sore, like, we internalize that, and we just expand it and we blow it up. And we, are we worried? Should we be concerned? How does this affect this, and that? But I think it's also fair to remember that, like, the majority of the fantasy football world is just now starting to log on and probably isn't going to draft for another 3 weeks or so. And so, like, these things started even. So, like, in some ways, like, it's like almost that, I won't say ignorance, but sort of that not being hyper aware might serve us to be a little bit better. Like, I think we get too hyper aware about things and we start to panic and we maybe outthink ourselves. Like, I think Dak's going to be fine. I mean, if he's not, then, if this were a real team, I'd be in trouble and we'd have to, like, rethink this. But I think Dak's going to be fine. The Cowboys defense is still going to be bad. He's still going to have to throw the ball a lot. So I'm willing to take that shot. And then I decided to stack him with Michael Gallup because I still believe in Michael Gallup. That's why.
So you're saying people don't think about fantasy football?
Shocking. I know it's hard to believe, but yeah, like, most sane people out there don't think about this stuff all year long.
I don't want to be friends with them.
Speaking of sane people thinking about other things, I got another one for you, Tony. Former Lakers guard and former Pelicans guard Lonzo Ball has officially signed with the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, the rumors are true. I actually like that. I like that move, kind of put Levine over at the 2 spot, Vucevic.
I thought we were
seeing a lot of
basketball.
Lonzo Ball jokes on Twitter already.
I bet.
If the news is opening up, Joe, we'll stay focused. I'll just bring the news to you.
Yes. Did anybody get to you got to grab the ball by the horn or anything like that? Because
not that I've seen, but
I want to save that one.
Twitter's a big place. Like, I
Right.
very well could have missed it.
gonna have to ruin my cred with that joke later.
Well, you opened the show with a dinger, and you can't come back from that one.
Can't lend them all. Tony.
Or most of them, apparently.
The defense is going.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot that. I forgot we had to take the defense in this draft.
Yeah, you don't got a quarterback, defense, or kicker right now, Joe.
I don't. Where is this that we draft kickers and defense in mock drafts? This has only been happening the past couple of weeks.
Who's setting up the drafts?
Me?
Yeah, I knew it.
Okay.
Well, because we did it that one time and I forgot. But normally in normal drafts, people draft defenses and kickers, so we're just getting them used to it.
But I think just because it's on there doesn't mean you have to draft them. Like, I didn't draft a defense in my league.
Plugger got his handcuff. That's a nice little move there.
Oh, that stinks because I was going to draft Tony Pollard if he fell.
Yeah. Zeke in round 1. Pollard. Why is Joe Morley Sports taking a kicker before he takes a quarterback?
That's the way I roll, boy. You got Justin Tucker off the board right here?
What? Come on, man.
You're having a good showing, Joe. Drew Lock
Marcus Grant is making me nervous right now.
I'm leaving the draft.
Why? What am I doing?
I'm done with the draft.
Normally, I'm a good drafter.
The last 2 picks have been
nervous.
Justin Tucker in round 11 and Drew Lock in round 11. I'm done with this draft.
That's funny.
We're Canex in this one.
I'm looking at the quarterbacks and I'm like, no, I'll take my guy Tuck right here.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, no, it's good. Get the guys you want, Joe.
Drew Lock just went.
Yeah. Whoa.
Jamal Williams, the guy with the best press conferences in the NFL, was taking my Marcus Grant right now.
Didn't he say he talks about he just watches anime all the time or whatever? Like, he doesn't watch football.
He's like, I don't watch the news. I just watch anime.
I mean, Look, man, I'm not mad at it.
Oh no! If I was in the, I wouldn't go to comments. I wouldn't go to anything if I played a professional sport. I wouldn't want anybody like me commenting on my life whatsoever.
Look at this, Mike. Alex says I got the same thing he was on yesterday.
That Cali stuff is good. Freaking Alex.
What's the song by Justin Bieber?
There it is.
Alex stepped in front of a microphone and predicted the Jets to win 8 games.
Oh no, he didn't.
Marcus, that's one of my favorite players in all of the draft this year.
I'm big on Amon-Ra. I mean, fight on, go Trojans. But also all this talk that he could sort of be in Detroit what Cooper Kupp has been in LA. I mean, how do you not like that?
Yep.
And to get him late in drafts, like again, no draft capital really spent. Like if it doesn't work out, I'm not heartbroken. If it works out, then I feel like a genius.
Yeah, and I like whenever somebody talks about like the workouts that they go and how dedicated they are, when that's what you're talking about is the off-season regiment they're into, is one of the reasons I always liked Terrell Owens. If you're going to do sit-ups in your driveway, you can play on my fantasy team. Like if you're that dedicated to looking like an Adonis, come on over to my squad.
I try to do sit-ups in my driveway. It didn't work out.
Well, it's always tomorrow. The day's young, Joe.
Someone tried to call the cops or something? What happened?
No, I didn't do it. I just
Joe, did Hoove snipe your quarterback there?
Oh, Tua? Yeah. Hoove likes to mess around at the end of the draft.
He does. He's having fun. And I'm good. I also wanted to say that I like the Jamal Williams pick too. I said something just to be like hot takey the other day that I think that he could outscore DeAndre Swift this year because I think he's good at football. I think he runs hard. I think he feels like a Dan Campbell sort of a player that's going to go out there and can win like that sort of emotion. He plays like Dan Campbell coaches and acts and lives his life.
Does he bite kneecaps and that sort of thing? I don't know.
That's what I the equivalence of how he plays football is essentially gnawing on cartilage.
I mean, I do think Jamal Williams is going to have a pretty good sized role in this offense. If Anthony Lynn is to be believed about, saying stuff like, I think he's an A-type back. I do think that he's going to have a lot of opportunity here. And like we saw in Green Bay, I mean, he was a good player, right? I mean, Everybody who had Aaron Jones was frustrated when they would see Jamal Williams come on the field, but he did a lot. He did a lot with that opportunity. And so I think it's going to be the same in Detroit. And I think especially if they use him as a pass catcher, I think they're going to split that work up between him and Swift. I think he's going to be pretty productive.
And he was kind of good at pass catching. Like Aaron Jones is a better pass catcher. Like you see him get actually split out and catching fade routes in the end zone. But Jamal Williams is no slouch in that department.
And if anybody knows running backs, it's Anthony Lynn.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Even when he has a all-time rookie level quarterback.
Somebody's still has a little bit of hate for Anthony Lynn, huh?
It's not really hate. It's more hate for his play call. I like Anthony Lynn, the person. He's a good guy, it seems like.
You guys know that I've been on record that I like the Detroit Lions offense. I'm not going to say they're a top 10, but I'm going to say they're going to put up some points, and people are going to know. There'll be more fantasy players out of there by the end of the year than there are being drafted right now.
How much of that, though, is opportunity with garbage time, though? Like if they're down, I don't know how good the defense is. I don't know what moves they made or how good that defense is. I just imagine them playing from behind a lot and needing to throw the ball. That's why I like Hawkinson.
What are you thinking, Joe?
So because of that, then I'm going to ask you then, who would you rather have, Brashad Perriman or Tyrell Williams?
I'll take Perriman.
Neither.
Tyrell.
I don't think Tyrell makes it to the season. He doesn't. He never has.
I'm going to go with Brashad Perriman. I've seen some success in certain spots, and Tyrell Williams, I just feel like he's one layout away from missing 6 weeks. Like that always feels what happens. He goes for a spectacular catch, and then he gets up, and he's not playing for a month and a half.
I mean, I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another. I was just, Joe said that the Lions are going to be productive. I was like, all right, well then there's got to be somebody else there, right? Besides, like what we're looking at, Swift, Williams, Hawkinson, St. Brown. Maybe there's somebody else there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Hawkinson.
What's his name? Cypress.
Cypress
Oh,
Hill. That's
yeah.
His name, I don't know how to say his first name, but yeah.
Quintez. Yeah.
Who.
I'm testing Marcus's fantasy knowledge right now with Detroit Lions 4th wide receiver.
Depth chart. There he is, taking a flyer on Hunter Henry. Why not?
Tim Tebow.
Tim
Tebow got drafted before Hunter Henry. I just want to point that out.
That's another thing, Marcus, that you have to question is which New England tight end do you go to? And if you take the Hunter Henry, are you now playing week to week wondering, okay, is Smith going to outperform him this week, or what's going on with that?
I mean, honestly, like depending on the day, my feeling about it changes. Like I go back and forth. All right, let me make this last pick. Yeah.
Nice.
I go back and forth because, like I said, I like both those players. Like I've always been a Hunter Henry fan, and I've been a Jonnu Smith fan the last couple of years. And so, like, you know, today I'm on the Hunter Henry side. If you ask me in a couple of days, I might have switched back to Jonnu Smith. Like I really, truly don't know how this is going to work and which one of these guys is going to be the guy. And look, who knows? Best case scenario, they both end up being productive. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I guess it's not impossible.
Well, my thing is like, where's the option? Like Nelson Aguilar had a good season with the Raiders, right? But like, is it Kendrick Bourne? You know, like
what's that? Kendrick Bourne,
Gunnar Olszewski.
It might be Jacoby Myers, maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I just, if you put that much money into Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, I just feel like they're gonna focus the offense around getting these guys touches every week.
I mean, yay! Like I said, I like both those guys. I feel like in offense, this isn't you know Pete Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
that offense you could sort of do that. Like, this is not that. And I think you know if that's what they want to do. Like, look, Belichick has forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. But that just feels like a hard way to live.
Yeah, my thing is neither one of these guys are known for their blocking. So why would you give them all that money if you weren't going to try and give them the ball? I hear everything you're saying. But what did you get him in the 13th round? You could drop him, in a few weeks. Again,
like no risk. And like I said, I took Kelsey in the 1st round, so like I'm cool, you know.
HQ, all we did was add a 3rd wide receiver onto this draft. I know we are finished with the draft, and Marcus has to go pretty soon, so we will do this. Highlight Marcus's team. And any thoughts on your team, Marcus?
I'll say the places that I liked. I mean, I like my first. Actually, I kind of like the first. I'm like first 4, 5, 6. I'm very excited, like all the way up to even Devontae Smith. I still really believe in. So what is that? The first 7 picks. I'm really excited about. Then it kind of gets, it gets a little mushy. I like the Edwards and Williams pick. And it sort of follows a pattern I've been trying to do in a lot of drafts, which is like I get my tight end early. I make sure I get at least one RB1 type running back somewhere in the first couple of rounds. Then I tend to go generally wide receiver heavy and then try to find some running back values in the later part. And I feel like I did that with Edwards and Williams. I was able to get my sort of late round guy and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So in a lot of ways, this followed the path of a lot of drafts I've done this season. So in that respect, either I'm really super predictable or like I have like locked onto a secret. I guess I'll let you know how that works out in like January.
I look forward to that breakdown. I have one question about your draft because it looked like you had your eye on CeeDee Lamb, who went at the beginning or the end of the 4th round there. So if you would have taken him at the 5, right? Mm-hmm. Am I getting that wrong?
5 to 11.
Oh no,
so it would have been in the 5th round.
So if you would have gotten him in the 4th round there, would you have gone back to running back, or do you not draft like that?
No, I mean, I don't draft specifically like, okay, I took a wide receiver, now I got to go back to running back. A lot of it is like who is there at the time. It for me just sort of works out that generally speaking, I mean, I took Darrell Henderson in the 4th round, but a lot of times like I don't see a lot of running backs in that 4th, 5th round range that I like. So in the past, I've been very wide receiver heavy. in that situation. This just happened to be a situation where I saw Darrell Henderson actually because Land went off the board start of the 4th round, right? So he went off the board start of the 4th round. Darrell Henderson was there. I liked him at that spot, so I took him.
And okay, so then quick hypothetical, just so like in the 5th round, you take Dak Prescott. You still like running backs would have been Etienne, Davis, Hunt, basically, and then Dak Prescott. Would you still have taken Dak Prescott if you like any of those guys?
If I had taken one of the running backs instead?
Yeah, I'm just throwing out the hypothetical, like is Dak still the favorite player?
Like say if I had taken Dak at 5 and then come around on the turn and gotten a running back or something like that, or vice versa, or taking the running back and come around and gotten Dak, maybe. Yeah. I don't believe you have to get a quarterback early. I have chosen to. Like I think that's sort of been my mentality lately is try to get one of these guys early, because I think there's a growing gap. From like because I've got Dak Prescott as a top 5 quarterback, and let's see, he was 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, he was the 6th, I think, quarterback off the board in this one. So like I think he's the top 5 quarterback, and I think after that though, you start to get a growing gap between that and everybody else. So I have sort of made the choice to get a quarterback early, but even if I didn't, if I had just taken a running back and decided to go with another position after that, I mean, look at the guys who went later, right? I mean, Tannehill went fairly late. Brady went fairly late. I mean, Joe Burrow is out there. Jalen Hurts. I don't have a fear of Jalen Hurts. So even if I decided to wait, I think there's still plenty of guys out there that would have been worthwhile.
Cool.
Marcus, I have one last question before you take off because we know you got to go. 12-man league, hardest position to draft from. What do you think? A lot of people are saying the number 9 spot is the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those sort of bunched in the middle to me, partially because, in the 1st round, it makes it sort of difficult to figure out where you're going to go. I guess for me, I've just gone Travis Kelce, and that sort of solves my problem. But if you want to go somewhere else, they're like running backs you kind of like, but not really. They're wide receivers you kind of like, but not really. So that definitely makes it difficult. I mean, for me, I would say somewhere like 6 or 7 or somewhere like that, partially because like, that to me is really hard to sort of plan. When you're closer to the turn, you can sort of figure out how to stack picks a little bit better. Whereas if you're at like 6, you make that pick and you're waiting. You're like the wait is always the same, and it's always hard to sort of look ahead that way. That's just my own little mild ADD kicking in. I don't know.
Whoever drafted number 9 this time, they did a great job. So I just
yeah, they did.
I saw you tee that up for yourself, and I was just like, come on, Joe.
I was like, I'll just toss him the pitch and let him hit it out.
I love it. And he handled it like a pro.
Appreciate you coming on, Marcus.
Appreciate the invitation, fellas. It was fun.
Thank you very much, sir.
Cool. We'll see you.
See ya.
All righty.
Okay.
Marcus Grant, NFL Network. If you guys want to go check him out, I think he's MG on most platforms. You can find him.
Yeah, hit him up on Twitter. He's always willing to answer questions.
Okay. Which of these teams are we looking at?
Robson's bragging about his, so let's go to his.
Goodness gracious, Robson. What did he say? Bring him up.
This is his favorite draft.
Think this is my favorite draft. How do you do the Robson? Go ahead.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it, Tony.
How would Robson read that, Tony?
I gotta find it. What, the blue hell? This is my favorite draft right here. I started with my boy Derrick Henry at the top, and then I had to come back around and get Mr. Patrick Mahomes, and then I got a beast from Ole Miss. His name is AJ Brown. Oh, and I'm gonna go ahead get my Gator, get my chomp on, Kyle Pitts. Well, get me some Kyle Pitts. Sorry, Alex.
See, when I blocked you, I brought the draft board up so nobody would know, and they were like, "Hey, Alex is on the screen."
What in the blue hell?
Give this man an Academy Award.
Anyway, in all realness, Alex, your team is pretty solid. I'll agree with you. Derrick Henry, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, is the only quarterback you really drafted this early or think about drafting this early. AJ Brown's going to be his wide receiver 1. Don't have any complaints there. You're always chasing after this Kyle Pitts dream, so I'll give you a pass on it because you're so consistent about it. And I hope that the dreams come true, Alex. I really do. I'm more high on Pitts in dynasty leagues because I'm looking at year 2, 3, 4 more than year 1 with a rookie tight end. In an offense where, yes, they're still going to throw the ball a ton, but I'm not sure how successful they're going to be this year. We'll just see how Matt Ryan ages. He's getting closer and closer to 40 every single season. Adam Thielen, touchdown-dependent wide receiver 2, but the Jerry Jeudy pick, I think that you're going to be okay at receiver. I would say the running back 2 is a little weak. It's Kareem Hunt. It's not too bad, but you don't really have anyone else as a backup plan.
I don't know what fantasy
for
alert
McKissick,
is.
for a PPR, like I think that's.
I don't know. People don't think that Curtis Samuel is going to take a lot of backfield snaps, but I think Curtis Samuel is going to be their guy to come in as their passing down running back.
I just wish somebody would break down Jerry Jeudy just a little bit more, so
Yeah,
I get a little bit more information on him before I draft him in my leagues.
If you wanted to see Jerry Jeudy's amazing footwork, it'd be really cool if there was a video out there on the Warzone Sports Network where a former decent high school player breaks down Jerry Jeudy's film.
Called Mike's Film Room.
That sounds.
What?
Did we just come up with that on the air?
It's a great idea. We should get on to that right after this.
Right. I'm gonna drop that yesterday, guys. That's up on the channel right now. If you want a Jerry Jeudy preview, Alex Robson gets him in the 7th. No offense, is Kyle Pitts' backup plan. I like that. As long as Drew Lock's not playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
I would have went running back with the Fant pick.
Yeah, probably. You could have probably gotten a streamer tight end if things don't work out with Pitts.
Yeah.
He got it. He got it.
Okay. Well done, Robson. Thank you for being a good sport.
What are we grading it?
I like this team. I don't know. I would give
10. A 10.
A 10. They scammed my cat. That said I could play. I'm basically just doing my Billy Bob.
He could make this a playoff
Billy Bob.
I don't think this is an automatic locked playoff team. If he loses any one of those superstars in the top 3, he's pretty screwed depth-wise. So I'm going to go with the 6.5, Alex. Above average.
Giving this therapist because I value your opinion, so let us know.
I agree.
Yeah,
I disagree with Mike. I'm going closer to an 8 because I think the wide receiver depth is great.
It's not.
Like Thielen, Jeudy, like what's not good about that?
He's too touchdown dependent, man, with Justin Jefferson there. Okay. Justin Jefferson's only going to get better too.
I'm closer to. He's got the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he did, and one of the best running backs. What we got right here?
What do you think then, Joe? An 8?
I'm closer to an 8.
I want a football therapist in my ear for any fantasy drafts that matter.
I do too.
This is ridiculous, and how he does it.
I don't know if I'll go 8, but I'll give it a good 7.
All right, so we're close, Joe. We're half a point off.
I got to look at other teams. It might go down, but right now that's my.
Look,
might lower it.
If there was any other person running this team, like with a little bit of common sense, it'd probably be a good team. But with Alex running it, it's not a championship team.
Joe, both of our wives have said we need to be nicer, and neither one of us are taking advice.
We took that advice and just threw it out the window.
Alex, that was a good pick. Jerry Jeudy, good job. Say good.
7.5.
Everyone's close to me, Tony. You lost this debate.
Let me. Somebody just said 7.5. That's rounding up to an 8.
He's not giving us any more advice because Tony and him are in a league together.
Yes, that is true. We're going to be. I think we're drafting here in a couple of weeks.
Me and therapist aren't in any leagues together. So, how much charge?
I have 8. Let's highlight therapist team. Who's ever running the board here? Let's get on it. This is a professional production. He did it again. It's like the beginning of a Jay-Z song. He did it again. You a genius.
Man.
Go ahead. Can you read this real quick, Tony, in your Alex Robson voice?
I don't even I am a 3-time DCA alumni fantasy football league champion, Joe Morley. So you shut your face.
Dalton, what's going on? I just threw you off right there. But therapist, he already blew it at number 3 overall. You already know. I'm not even gonna get into that now. I'll give this a 5.
What?
Oh,
what?
Wow! Ouch!
What?
I think of all the teams, this is maybe my least favorite, but that's because I just don't like Kyler Murray as much as everybody else. But wide receiver, like Kelvin Ridley's one of those guys to me that I think could end up being the top scoring wide receiver if he plays all 17 games. We've seen what Matt Ryan does when he locks into that number one target, and Kelvin Ridley could take that place of what Julio Jones was for so many years. Amari Cooper, great, but then I just don't love the Pittsburgh 3 receivers. I just don't know which one it's going to be. And then it's Marvin Jones, Will Fuller with Tua. He's getting him in and the running backs, the top 3, his first 3 running backs, I do really like. So this is better than Alex's. This is an 8.5. But on the scale of therapists' favorite teams, this is not the favorite one that I've seen him draft. But it's still an 8.5.
A solid playoff team. Like even if we call this a bad draft for what we're used to standards of the football therapist, this is still a very solid playoff team. And you're low on Kyler. Some people are higher on Kyler, so that's a big difference right there. I mean, when you're saying low, you're probably thinking 7 to 10, maybe outside of that. I'm not sure, Tony. People that are high are thinking top 5, so it just depends on which spectrum he's on. To me, on whether this is a championship roster or just a playoff roster. I like Murray. I think Murray
was on pace to outperform Lamar Jackson's fantasy MVP season by 6 points per game. He's my quarterback number 1 now. But yeah, my wide receivers are okay this draft. So basically, he just said, "Say it to my face."
It's fine. We can FaceTime later. I can explain it because this is the thing that people always do, the on pace thing. But the part of the on pace problem that doesn't work is that he wasn't able to finish the season because of the type of pace that he was playing at is not conducive to health. That's my issue, is like, can he play at that same level and same everything and stay healthy and not have a shoulder injury, not suffer any rib damage? Like, I get it. Former baseball player, he can definitely slide. He's a baller and fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. But we're talking about like being able to stay at that pace for 17 games. I'm not sure that I like it. It's one of the reasons why I don't love getting like Lamar Jackson as early as he's gone. Although in this one, he went pretty late.
Like, I actually think Lamar's an exception. He's very, very good about getting down. But like your Josh Allen, even though I contradict myself by drafting him, I just wanted to see what he looked like on my team. So I reached for him a little bit just to get him on there. But those guys that are more bruiser style runners, like Kyler Murray's not afraid to lay the shoulder. Lamar Jackson will usually just slide. He's gotten very good at just sliding. I think he understands that he's going to take a lot of hits in his career if he's not sliding more times than not.
Therapist said he doesn't like his team. He loves it.
He loves it.
Randy
I'm here for it.
Therapist, I need your help. I have a ton of issues. Like, why the hell do I keep coming back to watch these guys?
He does. You need a spot on the sofa. That's just it. You talk to the therapist on your own time. What's the next team we got on here? Who else are we looking at?
We've got Krusty's in here in the chat right now.
Krusty loves Deontay Johnson. I think he's drafted him pretty much every week. Are you a Steelers fan, or do you just like Deontay Johnson? Is that where I'm headed in that direction there? Godwin, Edmonds.
He also got Duke Johnson. I looked at it and I was like, you got Deontay Johnson in the 8th round? There ain't no complaints there.
Duke Johnson?
It's Duke Johnson.
Wait, Duke Johnson still in the NFL?
Yep. Houston Texans 4th running back.
5th running back.
No, he's not on the Texans anymore.
Ingram, David Johnson.
Right there, Houston. You think Sleeper's not updating their thing, Joe?
I thought he was gone too. I don't know.
Ingram, Lindsey, David Johnson.
Davis Mills, knee brace.
Okay.
There it is. He's 5th on the depth chart. I'm telling you, there's like 5 running backs in Houston, and all of them could get touches. I like where he got Ryan Tannehill on this team, and I'm also a fan of Robbie Anderson. And the top 3 are all locks. This running back situation, though, right here, Edmonds, Johnson.
Look, Mike, he's stupid.
That's David Johnson. Is
Yeah,
is it our fault that these guys they can't use a second abbreviation? There should be a DA just to clear it up. Duke Johnson played there for
Take
several
yourself
years.
right off the screen, Mike, for that one.
We said his name like 3 times too.
Hey, that's how much we really think about the running back situation in Houston.
Yeah, well, if we were getting paid, we'd all be fired. So there's the good news. Like the Cole Beasley depth, I think he's always underrated and a good selection for
rookie
fantasy. And he got his handcuff in Madison, which is something I failed to do in a draft earlier, where I got Delvin Cook at the 2 spot, and I didn't lock him up. I tried to get cute and draft Darnell Mooney, and then I missed out on my handcuff.
So Mike's suspended.
Mike is until further notice. But yeah, this is good. I'm gonna go 7.5 because I don't like the running backs. So I'm going 7.5.
I'm not sure about the anchor strategy. I'm not, like I said, we're not fantasy experts, but Krusty's been bringing it up that he's done the anchor strategy. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means, Tony?
The anchor strategy. Maybe that's like the core. You draft the anchor, like the core of your team, where you get like, I don't know, running back, tight end, wide receiver, all in the first couple rounds. Like that's who you're stacking your studs there. You don't waste it. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Somebody put it in the chat.
I like this team.
Yeah, nobody would be shocked to know that I don't have most of the answers to anything in life.
Now, the running back situation, I don't like. The running back situation I could stay away from, especially if Cook goes down. Then you're like, oh.
Well, he got Madison, which is good. So at least he has a little bit of security in that pick. But the other two.
Do you remember last year when Cook went down and Madison was supposed to take over and Madison did nothing in that game?
Yeah, I do. I wasted a bunch of fab budget on him. And here's the other thing too, is like when Cook goes down, I think they ran like Mike Boone a bunch of times in that game. I think Boone is somewhere. I think Boone's in Denver now, but yeah, I think Cook is the only one that's surefire top of the depth chart. And if he goes down, Madison's still going to get a chunk of the carries. He's just not going to get the Delvin Cook workload. What other teams?
Is Mike done pouting now? Like, is he done? If you want to come back from his David,
I need at least like a 10-minute break after that.
That's fine.
Who else we got? Who else is in the room?
Who else?
The room still and you drafted, let me know. I think shot callers might still be there. So we can go to shot callers. I know shot callers was getting Marcus Grant wild up because they were always sniping his players. So we can go there.
This is maybe my favorite team on the board.
Here's your thing. Right here's your anchor right here, Tony.
You pick an RB in the first round, then you wait for your RB2 until the 7th round, and you usually drag every other position. But I decided to wait in QB. It's basically a modified 0 RB strategy.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I pass too, but I get it. Because also too, like we're assuming that this is the team he'll run with for the whole year. He could hit waivers. He could be fine.
Yeah.
And the team could be loaded, and then he's got, his stud wide receivers. Although, like I said, Pittsburgh wide receivers and Bucks wide receivers, there's a lot of competition for targets. Like those are two places that I don't love it. Like you got
the wide receiver by committee.
You got Brown, Evans, and Godwin, and then you got OJ Howard coming back and Gronk and people out of the backfield, and they brought in Gio Bernard. Like, I get it. You're going to throw to the studs, but it limits a little bit. And then the same thing in Pittsburgh.
This is what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing at the end of the first round, either in the 11 or in the 12 spot. I'm getting myself Travis Kelce or Devontae Adams and Andrew Eckler.
Andrew Eckler. No relation to Austin.
Not at all.
Andrew actually does play for the San Diego Chargers.
Then he also got Mike Sanders in round 3. So
yes.
Yeah, Mike Sanders.
Mike
Sanders.
Yep. And then Fantasy Flojo's chicka CD Lamb right there.
Oh yeah, don't scratch my CD.
Yep.
Check my flow. Flow, don't scratch my CD. I sniped him from Flojo in this draft. Oh wait, Flojo isn't in this draft.
Go ahead, Jim.
Mike is rattled. Mike's right. Yeah, Mike's not on his game today. I do like Michael Carter right here. That's a good one.
Mhm.
And then Gesicki was a good pick. Look, he just went 3 Mikes in a row right here.
Oh yeah, Mike.
That's Mike on Mike crime. And Andy's got Mike Sanders. There's just too many Mikes.
Yeah, it's a lot of Mikes. You guys can call me Mark today if you want.
You took a running back from Houston and who's probably sitting behind Duke Johnson somewhere.
Nobody should take us seriously. I like also too Russell Wilson. I know some people seem to be down on him, and there's reports coming out that they are going to run the ball more or need to run the ball more. I'm not sure about what that is, but they have Russell Wilson, and he can also run the ball, so it doesn't worry me too much. But I like that when Kenny Golladay is your third. I like Deebo Samuels, and the only reason that I'm not normally I would not like Miles Sanders there, but I think getting Michael Carter in the 8th makes me feel better about that because I do think he gets that job at some point this year, and that could be your RB2.
The Michael Carter, I think, the Michael Carter pick saved this team, and I really like this team actually.
Well, Gesicki, I think, is also going to have a nice year, right? Tua's got to have somebody that he's like. I think him and Waddle are the two safest picks in that. Staying away from Parker, Will Fuller kind of scares me. Yeah, and Philip Lindsay, you guys know how I have a lot of joy for that young man. Just plays football the way that I wish I could have played football, which was at a high level and very good at it. You know, all heart, unsung hero type.
Next draft, HQ. Next draft, it'll go down.
Well, I don't know how you. Is there a quarterback with the Michael name? First name Michael?
I don't think so.
Maybe there's
that I can think of.
So if you went the all Michael draft strategy, which I don't recommend, if you went the all Michael strategy, you probably would be without a quarterback.
Well, no, because I'm pretty sure that what's his name up in Buffalo is going to change his name to Michael Trubisky. So it'll be fine. If we're going to butcher Miles Sanders' name to Michael, then let's just butcher every M name to that.
I mean, if we're going to disrespect,
well, he could
David
get Michael.
Johnson
he could get Michael
here.
Gannon. What's his name? Michael Gannon? No,
Mike Glennon.
Mike Glennon. There we go.
Starting quarterback of the New York Giants, Week 6.
Guys,
Mike Glennon.
We're putting out great content today.
Run through the guy's name, Mike. I think that's quality. People are going to be able to use this in their draft.
Like people, did you guys hear about the new Mike strategy?
Yeah,
going to win me a championship with it.
It's called the Mike on the Mike strategy, and you draft only players named Michael.
What if I did it at the Vegas League? Everyone would be pissed.
You couldn't even put together a team of Tonys. It would just be Tony Baselli, be one offensive lineman.
Antonio Gibson.
Well, I guess if we're gonna
Tony Pollard.
Consider Tony a nickname, yeah.
Yeah. So there's no Anthony Munoz. I'm just the name of an offensive lineman. I hate this game. It's a dumb game.
You can make he said you can make a team name of last name Johnsons.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good.
What
team.
about the quarterback? I'm worried about the quarterback position.
John Johnson or Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson plays in the XFL.
This is actually a good post. What is the best team you could put together using one name? Mike, I need you to get on that. I'm going to need a graphic tonight by 6 p.m. The all Johnson NFL squad.
It just got moved up. We need it by 5.
By 5. Crack the whip. Joe, do you want to talk about your team or do you want to get out of here?
Named Mike either.
What is it?
There's no defenses named Mike.
Oh, we'll just get the Mike linebacker. We'll do an IDP. No team defense. You got to get the Mike linebacker.
We'll go probably to the best team here, right? This is probably the best drafted team in this whole draft, and at probably one of the worst spots. I wanted to try this number 9 spots because people have talked, and it's pretty tough because I don't know how the hell Barkley at number 9, and if he didn't, I would have gone I had to change it up. But since he fell to me, I was like, hell yes, I'll take him at number 9. So if Barkley's going to fall to me at 9, I'll draft it here in this position all day. Took Najee Harris, think he's going to be good. Chris Carson always gets the rock, and I got him in the 3rd round. Took Bobby Trees, who's probably going to be Matthew Stafford's favorite target. DJ Moore, I don't need to say more about him. He's gonna go off. Juju Smith, it is what it is. Mike Williams, him and Justin Herbert have been connecting a lot more, getting that chemistry down this year. Antonio Brown, he's in that committee, but Antonio Brown puts up the same stats last year, or he was around the same area as the other two Tampa Bay wide receivers, so I'm good with him. Took Zach, my fourth guy, just to have him because he could take over that starting spot, right? Rob Gronkowski as my tight end. Give him another year. He's ready to go. Justin Tucker, New York Football Giants defense, be pick city over there. And my two quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields.
Pick city trick. I like this team, Joe. Actually, you did a nice job. You always seem to draft solid teams. I would have probably gone Justin Herbert where you went Juju. That's the only thing I would have changed. Yeah, I believe wasn't he the next pick after you?
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so he was the next pick. So yeah,
so that would have been my one difference there. Other than that, like I like it. I like Mike Williams this year. His 7th round seems high, but maybe that's where he's going now. Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver 5 of all time in fantasy football. Like if that's your wide receiver 5 and you're getting a Hall of Fame player in Antonio Brown, that's great. And then my favorite thing about this draft, Joe, is that you drafted a kicker before your quarterback. I've never seen that in any draft, and I applaud that. I applaud the chutzpah that it took to make that happen.
Thank you. I don't know. When you get late in the draft, and we've always talked about what?
It's a tough day for Mike. He was just talking to us, and I was watching him the whole time.
He was just letting me. Anyways, I was gonna say, Joe, before you go ahead and get yourself going, 3 wide receivers, and you got a bunch of great wide receivers, but you didn't take a hit to your running back core. No. That's what I'm impressed about. Also, the Kirk Cousins Justin Fields pairing. Like at first, I was like, Kirk Cousins, this isn't a Joe Morley move. But then when you get Justin Fields for when he takes over the starting job, now you're looking good around playoff time. So good team, Joe. Good job.
Don't let HQ just said it. He gave my secret away. Justin Tucker is going to carry my team.
And Gronk. That's the only thing I would say. If this team had Irv Smith, he'd be a little better.
And that's who I wanted. That's who I really wanted. And I think you took him.
Someone took him.
What? You took Irv Smith a little before. I wanted Irv Smith. Where'd you take him at? Oh, right here.
Right there.
You took him a couple picks before me.
Let's highlight Mike's team. Let's talk about that and get out of here. We're about to hit the hour 30 mark.
Somebody said, can Nick Chubb be a number 1 running back?
Someone did say that.
I just saw that Nick Chubb got locked up for 3 years right before the show started, I believe.
When you say locked up,
yeah,
we have different.
No, like the same.
No?
Yeah, it's very, very similar to
like
Plexico.
Like Akon locked up, can't get me out.
He's locked up abroad. Mike,
did you even talk about Akon anymore? I'm sorry, my bad.
No, no. Why would we talk about Akon on a fantasy football show? Damn it, Joseph. Mike, this is
a bad team.
No, I was just gonna say the opposite. This is one of your better drafts. A little light in the wide receiver department, but getting Hawkinson in the 5th round, I really like. So I think
you really did go 2 Jets wide receivers.
Heck yeah.
One of them's got to hit. One of them's got to be a volume guy. I like Corey Davis. I don't even know. Maybe I would have not gone with Burrow, and I would have looked to get another receiver in that. You know, like the guy that Marcus picked.
I noticed
St. Brown.
I noticed there was a guy in this draft that hadn't drafted quarterback yet, so I was like, it's the end of the draft. Let's screw him over a little. Throw a few jabs. So I got Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen, you know.
I do like the running backs that you took, though. I
also do like these running backs.
Yeah, I do too.
I like Chubb. Gaskins is good for where you got him at.
He's a sleeper at the middle of the 4th.
And also, speaking of same old sports and Plugga completely failed, right? So I am sitting here at the 6th spot, and I'm thinking Joe Morley wants Nick Chubb at that 8th spot, wherever the hell he is, a couple picks later. So I'm like, it's more likely that one of the next 2 picks are going to take Saquon instead of Chubb. So I was like, I'm going to screw Joe over. I'm going to get Chubb, and then one of these next 2 guys is going to take Saquon. A fantasy expert. And it didn't happen. And he just got Saquon. This is why I can't go into these drafts with alternative motives. I just need to come in and draft my best team. So next week, the week after. Next week I'll be drafting all Mike. The week after next week, it's over for all of you.
You can't
Mike,
come in.
I originally signed up for that 7th pick. I originally had the 7th pick, and I switched it.
I saw that. I was pretty mad.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I want to try number 9, and I switched it, and I'm glad I did. But if, like you said, you took Nick Chubb, if somebody would have took Barkley in between there, would have just took Barkley, it would have threw off my whole draft, and I probably wouldn't have gotten running back heavy. I probably would have took a wide receiver there, to be honest with you.
Devontae Adams would be a good pick at 9. Travis Kelce seems to be the consensus. People are going in that direction. Mike.
My best
Justin Tucker there.
Mike, I can't allow you to draft an all-Michael team on the thing. Okay. All right. I was going to say.
I may go Mike heavy, get me a Mike Davis in round 6 like I did in this draft. Get me a Mike Sanders somewhere in there, but I'm not going to go all Mike. I don't think it's possible because if I'm going to go all Mike, that means I think I'm drafting Mike Evans or Michael Thomas in the first round. Right? I don't think there's any better Mikes available.
In the first round?
In the first 3 rounds.
No, I don't think so.
It'd be Michael Thomas probably, or Evans.
It's a shit strategy is what it is.
Mike, get that post done right now.
I'm going to make that post right after this. I promise.
The all Mike
but it's going on the Mike and the Mike page.
Hey, same old sports podcast. You're not supposed to mention anything about our pre-agreement. Oh man.
Joe hired you to do what?
Nothing. Nothing.
Out of 10, Tony. Forget that I drafted Trevor Lawrence at the end there and grade this team out of 10.
This is right below shot callers. You're probably around, for me, this is probably an 8 or a 9 because you have Hopkins, top wide receiver. You have a top running back with good depth at the position, and you have a top tight end, top quarter. So you have advantages going into most matchups most weeks. This feels like a good team. I'd be happy with this team.
I wish I would have waited on Josh Allen because I feel like I could have gotten a quarterback the next round. There was someone that got drafted in the next round right before me that I was like, damn. Oh, it was Lamar right in front of Hawkinson. I was like, damn, maybe I should have taken Lamar in round 4.
Yeah,
your team's good. It's a good team. It's not as great as my team, but it's a good team.
It's close. It's better than Alex Robinson's team.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Robson, sorry.
No doubt about it. Anything else that we want to talk about? Jonathan Taylor didn't slip, like you said. Some people are going to value him more without a quarterback and thinking he's going to get a lot more carries. Johnny did take him. Oh, same old sports. He's in there still. So let's hit his team real quick before we go.
I like the Lamar Jackson in the middle of the 5th is really great value to me. Because we've seen him going in early 3rd rounds sometimes. So I like that. Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill is your 1 and 2. My problem with this team is the running back situation. Where he got DeAndre Swift, I don't love it. I maybe would have went Mixon. I probably would have gone David Montgomery or maybe even Chris Carson. If you're going to go running back, I feel like there's safer places to go.
Go Darren Waller. Get the running back another way around. There was a tier break from CEH to Swift, in my opinion. I think they're actually closer. Maybe the Najee to CEH is more the tier break. Go ahead and take the tight end. Like Joe said, sometimes you just got to go with the best player available. And then you don't have to worry about tight end later in the draft, and you can try and pick up a sleeper running back like Myles Gaskin.
Or stack Mahomes and Hill. That's a great way to start a draft.
Yeah. You got to just call an audible there because reaching for the running back or forcing the running back can screw up the rest of your draft.
But I mean, it's not like he's not bad, and we're anticipating him to have a lot of work, carries and passing game. So it's not bad. I don't love it. And then Mostert in the 4th.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mostert
my favorite
threw it
back
off
on his
a
team
little
is
bit.
James Robinson, and he got him in the 7th round.
Yep.
Because I still think James Robinson is going to have a nice role. You guys know I like Travis Etienne. I drafted him already in a league in the 4th round, but or 5th round. I would say that James Robinson to me is my favorite running back on this team. I like Higbee at tight end. So all in all, I would say this is probably who's
And he got Young Ho Koo. You got that Young Ho down there to kick the ball.
Hell yeah.
Former San Diego Charger.
San Diego Supercharger.
Costa Mesa Charger.
Actually, I like this team. The Mozart. Okay, did you mess up there? Can he do some stuff in San Francisco? And probably be he's going to be the number 1 guy. But do I want to take him that high? Probably not, because I don't know. I like Gaskin and Javonte Williams just a little bit higher than him. But it's up to you. It's your team, and if he liked them, then that's good. I mean, I would probably just because I'm afraid of that Shanahan offense of plug in a running back and go, and they go off.
Yeah, and Trey Sermon went several rounds later, and they're already talking about how much they like him. Javonte Williams is really going.
And of course, Mike's
Super
guy
hot.
Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman. All right, let's get out of here. We got another show at 6.
Yeah, guys, come back. Join us for we have Phil Jones coming on for Welcome to the War Zone. It's going to be a great talk, great NFL talk. Bring some questions. Let us know what you guys want to talk to. We'll be back at 6 o'clock, which is about an hour from now. 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
ET.
And we'll try to fix Mike by then.
He just needs a recharge. Hit that button, Joe, quick.
What? But am I? Oh, I'm hitting the button. I forgot. Hold
I don't
on,
know.
hold on.
Mike's trying to sabotage.